What up? What up? What up? All right, what's up, guys? For today's list, I'm gonna keep it a little bit shorter. Only four names. I'm gonna throw in an extra here in the stream, but it is an EV play. So I like, the other play that I'll tweet out in my watch list a little bit more. But I do think Neo is going to be the fifth play. Has some nice potential. Break down some things. As we saw, Spy really rebounded really fast today. Be able to get in plays, first 15, 30 minutes to an hour. These things really ran throughout the day. So I hope those plays really played out well for y'all. But in terms of flow, first one that really stuck out to me was Facebook. And the reason being, this is getting hit all the way up to 355 calls. Pretty decent volume here on these 350 calls. But calls that aren't too crazy out of the money are, pretty high premiums. We do have an ER next week, so this could be a possible catalyst here. But we also have these puts getting hit nice down to 270s, 280s. So I like this play both sides a lot. It will run with the market, so that's something I'm going to keep in mind as well. I do like that Facebook play a lot. Nice flow coming in both sides, especially these 2-4 calls looking pretty bullish here on the flow. Two pretty bullish days back to back, so that that makes sense. But we do have that nice downside with the 280s, 295s, and even the 270 puts here on Facebook. Second play, SQ. What really sticks out to me about the SQ flow is, we have that big volume gap below. Talked about it a lot. It's been making some pretty good runs these past couple of days. But when we look at the flow, the puts are getting hit heavy. 218, 100s, and 115s getting hit nice. 2-4, 90 puts were the highest put in terms of volume. So that's something I'm really going to watch tomorrow. Calls are getting some nice volume as well. But I really like that put side. So if we have a little bit of a pullback tomorrow in the market, I like this SQ play a lot. That 90 call or 90 put for 2-4 really sparks my interest. Don't know exactly where people are seeing that. Maybe someone knows some news or something that we don't know yet. So I'm going to watch that 90 put. The downside I like a lot on SQ, but it does have room to run on the upside. Pretty oversold in terms of an overall chart perspective with the volume gap below and above. So I like this play a lot. One thing with SQ, I talked about a lot, it's a little bit spready, so I don't like that as much. I use limit orders whenever I play SQ just because the spreads, they're pretty vicious, usually between 0.07 and anywhere to 0.15, maybe even 0.2 at times on the contracts that don't have as good of volume. The next play, and one that really sparked my interest, is Plug. Plug has been beat down. It is a EV tied play, green sector tied play. But when it comes to this flow, we're getting some nice hits here on these 218s, 21s, 2-4, 20 puts are nice as well. This could drop to 20. I like that a lot. And we see people opening, some 30 calls for 318. Like to see that. But also these two puts here, 318, 15 puts, and 218, 14 puts. This could move potentially both ways pretty big. So I like that a lot. We're also getting calls hit for 2-4 up to the 24s, as well as puts, 21.5, 19.5, and these 20 puts as we talked about before. So I like this play a lot when it comes to both an up and a downside potential. And the last play, probably my favorite play tomorrow, is LCID. We did get that nice VPA gap filled down, but there's still a volume gap up, right? So we can play this volume gap back up. Flow is getting hit up to that 33 level that was massive before we really fell through. I like that. We're getting hit up to the 40s. I think that's a bit out of range for 2-4. Never really know. But EVs could become more hot. They were pretty hot today. So I like this play a lot. And that last play I'll talk about levels, is Neo, one that I've been able to trade every day. Like it a lot with the liquidity. Levels play out pretty well. So I like all four of these a lot in terms of flow. I looked into SoFi as well, CCL, AAL, and Uber, but I didn't like the levels mixed with the flow. They weren't too crazy OTM flow, and we had a lot of resistance to break through before getting a possible big play. So I'm going to keep my list a little bit more concise and short. I like that a lot. In terms of SQ, so looking here on the hourly, looks like we're flagging at a pretty key level, right? So I like that a lot. We got a nice volume gap here up to 127.55. It's going to be a massive level. I'm going to throw in a line here, 127.5. 127.55. All right, cool. We're going to put that yellow. That's going to be my call trigger. But I like that a lot. In terms of a call and put trigger here on SQ, we're going to have to scroll a little bit here on the 15 to really get a good level. But ultimately, I'm going to use the low. Let's see, what's the low in here? The low here is 123.62. High 124.43. 124.62. So I'm going to use the low here at 124.7 for my call trigger. I do think we can hit this pretty fast tomorrow, but I want to see how it reacts to that level. If we get a denial off that 124.7 level, I do like some puts, but over that level we do have that volume gap up to 127.5, so that can be a nice play as well. The reason I didn't pick this level here at 124.45 is just because we have multiple rejection points off of that 124.7 level right in here on this 15. And then above that, let's see, what's some levels? 125.3 looks like it's going to be a big level to watch. It's not. I don't think it'll play that much of a role, as we do have that nice volume gap, but it is a level that has been hit multiple times, so I am going to watch that level above 124.7. On the downside, this one's going to a little bit more tricky. We had a nice day. We do have this POC. Oh, it's all the way down at 111. Okay. So in terms of a put trigger, I'm going to look underneath and towards the bottom of the zone, a level that has really been deflected, been previous highs, and that is right here at 119.7. I like this play. We use the support here, fell through but didn't close below in here. It was a high over in these areas, a low as well. And it was also a high and low in these areas over here. So I like that 119.7 level. The downside looks like, we got a lot more volume, so it's going to move a little bit slower to the downside. But this is one on the daily. Let's look at this daily here. On the daily, go. So our POC is all the way down here at 111. Was at 111. It's all the way up at 233 when we zoom out a little. But see, we still have this very, very nice volume gap on the daily. So I like that downside. It can move fast once we get through some of these levels that were created over the past couple of days. I'm going to use the hourly to look for some levels I'm really going to watch. On the hourly, so that 119.7 level definitely looks big. Underneath that, I'm really going to watch that level here about 118.95. I like that. Decent size play. 118.95. I'm going to watch that level. And then underneath that, this thing can really fall off decently quick. I'm going to watch 117.7, it looks like. I'm going to watch that level as well. Throw that in there. And then underneath that, we can fall pretty fast. Not too much on the hourly that really sticks out right now, except for this level down here at about 115. Let's see the low of this, 3.8, 115.27. Throw this in here about 115.4. I like that. And then we have a POC all the way down at 110.62, so this could really get moving. I like this play both ways. Spreads aren't my favorite, but it'll work. LCID. This was a play I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. And if we look at the daily here, we did get that VPA fill on Friday, but we also still have the VPA back up to that 33 region and ultimately up to 36.16 area. So I like this play a lot on both the up and the downside. I like it more on the upside for tomorrow. With EVs being hot, I really like it. In terms of a call and a put trigger, that 33 level is going to be my ultimate goal if we can really get over some of these levels in here, as there's not too much. But that is a very, very big level here on not only the daily but also intraday charts. Throw this in yellow. Okay. All right, in terms of a call trigger, So this region right here is the one that really kind of confuses me a little bit, but I'm going to use 30.2 as my call trigger. That's a little low. And the reason being, let me throw that in real quick. The reason here being, this level that was tested multiple times was 30.15. So over that, it's okay. But we have this really, really fast support at 30.2. So I'm going to wait until we get over that 30.2 to really play. Over that, 30.85 looks like a very big point here. And I think that's where the big move comes out of LCID, is over that 30.85. But using that 25% ATR method, I like that 30.20 for calls. On the downside, that 27.95 that we have here was the gap fill on the downside. So that's going to be my first target in terms of the downside. But for a put trigger, I like this level in here underneath this big candle. There's multiple bottoms deflecting off before we did fall, kind of knifed on SPY, and then it caught back up intraday. So it made levels a little bit harder, but it was a high here, lows multiple times. So I'm using 28.6 as my put trigger, and I'm really gonna watch. I'm gonna watch this 28.38 level. It's very big. Hits here, here, and here to that exact level. So 28.38 is one I am certainly going to watch very closely, how Lucid, if we do get a downside, how it reacts to that level. But underneath that, I like it down to 27.95, and then over that 30.85 level, we have range to 33. So I like this play a lot, especially on the upside. With EVs hot, market can stay hot tomorrow. I really, really like Lucid, especially on a bullish side right now. Plug. All right, for plug, also got to zoom out a little, try and get some better levels. But ultimately, I'm going to use over this high here at 22.33. So 22.35 is going to be my call trigger here on plug. And I like that a lot. It's a big resistance before ultimately falling off. There's this little zone here. I'm gonna wait to clear that before playing plug. But as we see, there's not too much until about 22.7 on our VPA. So I'm gonna throw that in there. 22.7. I like that a lot on the upside. Nice little move. Plug's another one that's a little bit spready sometimes on its options, but they're pretty low premiums. We do have the 50-cent intervals. I like this play a lot, especially for a smaller account. In terms of a downside trigger, I'm going to wait a little bit here on plug and wait until we get underneath these levels in here. But ultimately, I'm going to use this level right before we bounced the low here at 21.35. It was also the high, I believe. Yep. So 21.35 is a big level. 21.35. I'm going to use that for my puts. I like that level. Underneath that, next, I'm going to watch that 21.25 level. Is definitely a bigger level. But my first real level I'm watching is this level down here at 20.95, which is a good move the other direction. Looking at our VPA, there's not too much right now that I can tell until about 20.86. So that's a big level, but I'm gonna watch that 20.95. I'm gonna use my hourly to get maybe a couple more levels we can look at. So yeah, if we look at this, there's some volume gaps, but that 22.7 level looks to be very, very big here on the hourly. Over that, let's see, what are the lows in here? 22.95 is a very, very big level. So right around 20. I'm gonna throw it in at 23. Big psych level, also hitting this multiple times before falling off. I like that a lot. And then in terms of the downside, looks like 20.6 is going to be a big level, so I'm going to throw this in. I like that, but this is another play that can go either way. We got flow coming both sides. Looks like it broke out a little bit here on the hourly from this wedge. So let's do some nice potential. Over 23.20, we do not have much, it doesn't look like, until up around, there's a little bit here at 24.6, but the one that really sticks out is about 25 area. So this could get really, really moving on that upside, especially if it's a strong market. If we have a weak market, this hourly candle is very long, and not too much was holding it up in terms of volume. So we can get that nice play to the downside as well. Facebook. The flow on Facebook is absolutely outrageous. That's really why I like it so much. But I'm going to use the high of, oops, I need a 15 minute. I'm going to use for my call trigger, I'm going to go up here to this level here at 315.25. Maybe if I can find it. Blue. 315.25, that'll be my call trigger. I like that. Over that, there's some levels we deflected off, but the major one I'm going to watch, there isn't crazy a lot. What's this level here? Low 315.53. Alright, so I am going to watch that 315.53. It was a big level, deflected off of twice. So I am going to watch that. That's not going to be my first target, but over that 315.3 level, this thing can fly and get moving pretty good up to 317 area. Put this in here. On the VPA, the real level I notice is all the way up here at about 319. Let's see the low of this. That's all the way at 321. Let's see. So I'm at all right, 318 looks like a big level. Yep, it definitely is. The low, all right, I'm gonna put 318.75 as my next target. On the upside, I like that a lot. Facebook's one that can move, pretty fast, big moves here and there. So I wouldn't put it past Facebook to touch 320 tomorrow. If we have a hot market, the EV or earnings run up, so a possible catalyst. I like that play a lot. On the downside, I'm going to use these levels in here, the lows right before we bounce here at 309.8 as my put trigger. It was a high, a low. It's also the high of this zone, so I like that a lot. The next place I'm really going to watch is down here about 308. I like that. It's the bottom of those 308.9. It's the bottom of this zone over here, the top of this zone. We tested it, got close to testing it here at 307.5 before, falling back. So that's something really cool to see there. And underneath that, we don't really have anything too crazy. This level here definitely sticks out at, let's see, what's the high? 305.7. So that is going to be my second target. Oops. 305.71. I like that. Tested it multiple times. This play I think can move a lot both ways. And then the play I'll add in also is NEO. In terms of calls, I like it over 25, and puts I like it under 24, 24.02. Multiple bottoms, respected multiple times over here in terms of very resistance. Was a prior support, so I like that. NEO's one that can get moving. Over 25, it has range. As we can see here, there's a big gap to fill all the way up to, what's this, 27.37s on the VPA, but what are the lows here? 27.24, 27.25. I'll put that as my first target over our call trigger at 25. I like this a lot. I'll probably just play NEO to the upside tomorrow. Even though it's downside, we're getting some consolidation in here. Underneath 23.5, this thing can fall back down pretty nice as well. So I like NEO a lot. Ultimately to the upside, I like EVs and the strength they showed today, but I do like that Lucid play a little bit better with the daily VPA. So those are the four plays I'm really watching. NEO will be a fifth. I like it a lot. Personally, I trade it almost every day, so that's one I've become familiar with and like to include it. Get that out, for show and support. I really appreciate people coming in, stopping by, all that good stuff. But another thing with NEO is today is the Chinese New Year, so China stocks were hot. If Hong Kong gaps up overnight, I would expect NEO to gap up as well if EV continues with strength tomorrow. Another good thing to watch there. So I like that play on NEO a lot to the upside mainly, but the downside, we can come fast once we get underneath that 23.5 area. This can fall pretty decent down to 23, and really 22.05, 22.10 is the region that I think this could test when it comes to the downside if we do get underneath that 24 and then 23.5 level.